What is up, guys, and welcome to the video. As you would have seen there, I just prepared my pre-workout meal. Nothing crazy, some oatmeal, protein powder, a little bit of nut butter, some blueberries, pink salt and cinnamon. I've been doing that variation of that pre-workout meal for years now. So we are gearing up for a big back day today. But before we get into that, I want to take some time to chat about diet breaks. So last week, I decided to take a full week diet break after spending 14 weeks in a deficit. Now, in this vlog, I wanted to discuss when might be the appropriate time to take a diet break, what sort of things you should look for, and most importantly, how you should set up these things and what might be the purpose of implementing them in your dietary protocol. So firstly, when is the right time to take a diet break and what sort of things should you look for? My opinion is to only use them when you need them. Now, there are a number of red flags you can look for which might suggest that it is time to take a diet break. Now, these flags can include large and acute increases in hunger and food focus, loss of sex drive, trouble getting to sleep and staying asleep, and rapid drops in training performance and desire to train. For some context here, prior to this diet break, my sleep went to absolute crap and I was struggling to stay asleep for 5 hours, and my deadlifts went from 6 reps of 260 kilos to failing at 5 reps of 200 kilos a week later. It's these rapid increases in diet fatigue symptoms that are a general indication that you're redlining and you could benefit from easing off for a moment before pushing further. Next, I want to discuss what is the purpose of taking diet breaks. Now, as you can probably guess, the purpose of taking a break from dieting is to reduce some of these diet fatigue symptoms that we discussed before. So things we might see during a diet break include reduced food focus and hunger, an increase in training motivation, improvements in sleep, and a repair of some performance drop-off. To give some context here again to this, by day 3 of my diet break, my sleep went from 5 hours maximum to 8 to 9 hours a night comfortably. Sex drive came back like crazy. Peekaboo! And by day 4, my hunger was completely settled and I was actually completely comfortable to go back to diet food and into a deficit. But I did make the commitment that I'd stick to it for the full week. Next, I'll discuss how I set up my diet break. Now, in the past, I believed that diet breaks had to be used on at least a monthly basis, stayed strictly at maintenance calorie level, and they were made up of high carbs and low fats. But since I completed my diet break study last year, and we'll chuck up that study on the screen, I learned that diet breaks don't actually stimulate metabolism or prevent muscle loss or hormonal downregulation. Since knowing that, I've changed my approach a bit. Basically, the benefits from diet breaks mostly come from improving the mental state and stabilizing hunger. So with this in mind, because the benefits of diet breaks are largely psychological, I now prefer to use them less frequently, but when I do, I'm a bit more assertive with the calorie increase. I now recommend increasing calories around 40% from your baseline diet, which will establish a slight calorie surplus. Keep with your usual protein intake and then split up carbs and fats just based on what you feel like eating. Now, of course, this is going to result in some weight gain. However, the majority of this gain will be fluid and glycogen. And even with some fat gain, I feel as though the mental reset and the reduction in diet fatigue to facilitate some successful future dieting is a worthy trade-off. I view it as taking 1 step back to take 3 steps forward scenario. Now, it's important to note that everything I just said here only applies if you have seriously high levels of diet fatigue. Now, this is unlikely to occur until you've been dieting for at least sort of 10 to 12 weeks. If you take a diet break every time you get a bit of hunger or your energy dips, you'll end up just running around in circles. Lastly, I just want to mention some common myths about diet breaks as well as some misconceptions. Now, the first myth, which I touched on earlier, is that diet breaks allow you to maintain your metabolic rate and muscle mass when you're dieting. Now, thinking this has caused people to use diet breaks very frequently. However, because of the new research that has come out, we now know that this is not actually the case. So with this in mind, diet breaks should be used much more sparingly and only when those red flags are actually popping up. Otherwise, you're just unnecessarily extending the dieting phase and attainment of the end goal. Now, a second big misconception is that everyone should use diet breaks when dieting. If you're on a tight time schedule, like a contest prep or trying to get ready for a photo shoot, you just might not have the time to incorporate these things. We need to remember that during a diet break, we aren't getting closer to our goal. In fact, we could be even getting further from it. So if you are under time pressure to reach a certain physique by a certain date, then I wouldn't recommend using diet breaks. I'd just grind through. Additionally, if you're just at the beginning of your diet, like the first 6 to 8 weeks, you're just not going to have the accumulated diet fatigue to warrant a diet break. So from my perspective, you just have no business taking a diet break. You haven't earned it yet. The reason I use a diet break is because A, I'm not on a timeline, and B, I'm going to use this break to recharge for my final hardest push of this diet. Plus, I'm 14 weeks deep, very lean, and with a lot of accumulated diet fatigue. All right, so first back movement going down. I warmed up and then I just hit a top set on this sort of lat pull down setup. It's sort of a different machine, I haven't used it, but it will do the job. So I hit a set of 10, that was as many as I can do. That was 3 plates per side, and then I'm going to scale it back to 2 plates per side. I'll do a rest pause. So I'm going to hit 12 reps, rest 15 seconds, go to failure, rest 15 seconds, go to failure again, and that should get a good amount of blood flow into the lats where I want it, to then be able to go into some heavier rolling stuff. All right, movement number 2 and first rowing movement of the day. So I just warmed up with my theta sets there, built up to 3 plates per side on this chest supported row. So gonna hit a top set to failure here, then I'll rest probably like 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna hit that for the same weight again, as many reps as I can, but then I'm gonna strip down to 2 plates per side, and then I'm gonna strip to 1 plate per side, so it's like a double drop set. So that'll be the first rowing movement, and once this is done, the overall back should be pretty damn pumped. That should be set up for the rest of the workout. Let's get it. Alrighty, third movement going down. Now we got another row, but instead of making it a lat dominated row, we're targeting the upper back, so traps, rhomboids. I just hit my top set there. This is actually kind of heavy for only 2 plates per side. I think I hit 11 reps. Now I'm gonna strip it back to my back off set. I'm gonna go down to only 1 plate per side, but it's gonna be a variation of a rest pause set. So my first set is gonna be 12 reps. I'm gonna rest 15 seconds and then go to failure. And I'm gonna keep repeating that until I can only get 3 good reps. So however many sets that takes me is however many I'll do. So I should be able to get a really dense set here with a lot of work broken up by those 15-second rest pauses. Bringing back some of the 3-7 method. This is a method of training that I used a lot last year, so I'm bringing it back because it is quite effective. So the progression scheme is you start with 3 reps, around 70% of your 1 rep max. Take 10 seconds rest, hit 4 reps, 10-second rest, 5 reps, and keep going all the way up to 7 reps. So basically by the time you're hitting the 7th rep and that last little effort, the sets are really freaking hard and you're smoked. It kind of feels easy at the beginning, but by the end you're absolutely toast. So a really good way to get a lot of work done in a short period of time with a really high intensity. Righty, 5th movement now with a Smith row. I actually haven't done these in yonks, but there isn't a whole lot of back equipment here, so I'm sort of just making do with the best I've got. So I just hit a top set, nothing too heavy. I was just focusing on like a really good contraction and a squeeze. I'm gonna stick with the same weight for my back off set, take it to failure, then I'm just gonna strip that green plate off and go to failure again. So just like a standard drop set. And then probably just gonna finish up with some lower back stuff, and then that's probably going to be a wrap on this back workout. Alright, we got second last back movement going down. Doing like a hyperextension variation on the Smith machine. So I've just got 3 plates per side, not super heavy, but I just hit it for a top set there, nice and slow, controlled, squeezing my erectors, not my erection, as hard as I can. And now I'm gonna use the same weight, 3 plates per side, hit another set to as many reps as I can do. Then I'm gonna strip down to 2 plates, strip down to 1 plate, and that should have my lower back area toast. And then we're just gonna finish with a couple of sets of chin-ups, and then we are done for back day. Workout was a wrap. Pretty decent workout, had a few stops and start, and the equipment wasn't the best, but we made do. Got my Mag Relief juice shake here with banana, dragon fruit and whey protein. gonna get this down, then we're gonna head back to the villa. We're gonna shower up, and then we are gonna take Panday on his first ramen experience. So looking forward to that. We'll catch you guys in the next clip.
Ramen! Ramen! Ramen!
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Panday's first ramen experience.
This is my first time eat ramen.
We're going for the broth first?
Yeah. Oh man, this is really good, man. This is Naruto. What is that? Naruto what?
Naruto Maki.
Yeah, that's right. Bro,
What do you rate it out of 10?
this 12.
Yeah, my man.
Ichiraku ramen.
Yeah. Oh. So good.
You ready to do the last drink?
The best bit.
Show me the.
Nectar of the gods.
Yeah.
All right, comrades, we have possibly my favorite meal in the world going down, and we're also treating Panday to his first ever ramen experience. So as you will see, didn't take long for my ramen to disappear. Ramen is not safe in front of me, but I got the tonkotsu ramen with extra pork, Naruto style. For those who watch the anime, you will know. Then we've got some chicken gyoza with a bit of sweet soy sauce, chicken karage, and one of my favorite Japanese sodas. Oh, also got the edamame as a little side dish. So not only is this some of my favorite food in the world, being Japanese food, authentic Japanese food, not California rolls. This is a pretty good example of what a great diet break meal might look like. So it gives you a chance to have a mental reset, try some of the foods that you've been craving while not eating like a jackass. So if you are going through your diet break and you're having 3 double cheeseburgers with a cheesecake and a McFlurry, then you're just being a lazy slob. That's not how to do a diet break right. So this is just a good opportunity to have some really nice tasting foods that you wouldn't be able to work into your normal plan. It's not going to leave me feeling stuffed or bloated. It's going to let me feeling very satisfied, and it ticks off sort of one of those foods that I crave sort of year round, and by tomorrow I'll be fresh and ready to go back onto my diet calories. So the ramen was elite. For Bali, like, that was as authentic as you can get to a tonkotsu ramen that I've tried, and I've had them in Japan. So this place, Mad Ronin, do a hell of a job on their ramen. So I'm keen to get stuck into the karage and the gyoza and the sides as well, because if their ramen's anything to go by, it's all going to be bomb. So we are just gonna chill out and enjoy the food, enjoy the vibe here. Super nice, sort of tucked away little Japanese spot. But that is gonna be a wrap for the video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a thing or two. As always, if you did like the video, please subscribe or drop a comment down below. And if you really want to help out the channel, if you could share something to your IG story so I can reshare it, that's one of the best ways for me to help sort of grow this channel, which is something that I'm really, really trying to do. But I appreciate you guys' support more than you know, and it motivates me to keep putting these videos out. So thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.